the new fantasy adventure from Atari Games. The most fun a quarter can buy.
The arcade games were a platform that, despite some ups and downs, they stayed as a preference and habit of gamers when they offered games that, besides having the best graphics and sound, they always presented novelty and very varied games, both on the game style and the way they were played. And despite that on home consoles Atari was a brand that was declining as time passed, on arcades it kept offering interesting and amusing games that came from simple ideas. The game of this review is Toobin, which is based on that recreational activity where someone moves around a great body of water, like a lake or a river, riding an inner tube. In the case of this game, it has a competitive format where two players called Beef and Jet compete to get more points, and if someone plays alone, a CPU-controlled character called Flotsam appears. The main way to get points is by crossing gates that, depending on its difficulty, is the value, trying not to bump with them because you'll decrease its value with each hit. Besides that, you collect prizes on the way when you hit the obstacles with the cans you collect. And if you avoid for some time the gates, it can appear from behind a crocodile that chases you. Normally there are two kinds of obstacles, the ones that make you go slower and the ones that pinch your tube. Usually those last kind of obstacles can be eliminated or stopped when you hit them with cans, because they are immobile like bushes on the river, or mobile and projectiles like river animals, characters that shoot or throw you something, or floating objects. The cans that you use to defend yourself are limited, being able to carry 9 at max, so you have to pick them up constantly, and if you pick up a 6-pack, it will give you a more lasting recharge. Besides having items that are at plain sight, there are another that are hidden on the obstacles on the middle of the river, and in addition of giving you points, there are special items like the beach ball that speeds you up, which could be sometimes a disadvantage, extra lives that appear as patches, and balloon letters that, if you collect them all, they make the word Toobin, displaying at the finish a message with a code that in 1988 it could be sent by mail to get a t-shirt of the game. On another things, something distinctive of this game is the format of the control, in which you use 5 buttons, where 2 are to row forward with the left and right arms, 2 to row backward with the left and right arms, and another to throw cans that, despite it sounds difficult, is the more intuitive way to control your tube with funny consequences. Another fun thing of this game is the fact that you paddle through many rivers that change seamlessly on each class, which are 3 with 5 different rivers. Each one takes you around the world in silly stereotype versions of rivers like the Amazon or Rio Grande, and another strange, alien or supernatural places. And there are warp gates presented as hidden whirlpools that allow you to jump between classes. At the end of each class, you'll be received by a beach party that each time it will become bigger, showing your total points and the letters you got. Finally, it's important to mention the sound of this game, that since it uses a standard Atari soundboard, there are many sound effects that are the same as in another Atari games of the time, like Paperboy. But there are very funny original sounds of this game, like the exclamations of the characters when falling from waterfalls, the sound of the incoming crocodile that reminds us the foe of the movie Jaws, or the voices of some enemies when they attack. There is also the representative music of each river that range from cartoonish and joyful to ambiental and dramatic. This game, because it was a very different concept, is recommended even for players of today, being dynamic and addictive, even if you have to get used to the controls, mostly because its uniqueness. It was adapted for Commodore 64, Amiga, MSX, the NES under the Tangent brand, and the Game Boy, and it can be found on the classic arcade compilations of Midway. Thanks for watching, please leave your comments and subscribe. I'll see you in another capsule.